Link here. There we go.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hey, it's been a long day up here in Idyllwild, and we're enjoying that nice cold weather, the rain. We're waiting for the snow to come in, but until then, I ain't got nothing else better to do but sit here and interview these great people that has great talent shooting these great films up here. So today we're with a couple here from Los Angeles, right?
Right, Los Angeles.
Awesome, good old LA. Do y'all have toilet paper in LA yet?
A little bit, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
We'll barter a little bit, you know, what
right.
do you need?
Yeah, man, this coronavirus is just scaring everybody, man. It's just like
it's
the
scary.
stores down in HEMET. I seen today wrapped around the lines. You can't get even into the store to get toilet paper. It's so
Scary.
crazy.
It's scary.
But I'm going to shoot a film just on the coronavirus, right? But so tell me a little bit about your film. What's the name of your film that you guys produced?
So the name of our film is Becoming Bethany Rhodes.
Okay.
And it's about a strained mother and daughter relationship.
Very strange.
Very strained mother and daughter relationship, and it's basically about the human need to want to live your dream, to want to do the things that excite you in life, but then
that mother wants to do what she wants you to do, right?
And it's what she needs. She needs that to happen. So it's this tug of war between, does the daughter do what she wants to do, what she's always wanted to do, or does she live the life that her mother wants her to live?
Right.
So,
and this daughter's old enough to actually do what she wants. She's like in her 30s in this movie,
yeah,
right?
she's in her 30s, and you know, it's a dream, that something she wanted to do that she gave up, and okay, I'm just going to live this life, and then realized I can't live this life anymore.
This is not for me.
Yeah, but Mom was like, oh no.
And I was watching, you know, the clips in your video that you guys put together, and this mother, you could tell, is over. How I can't really think of the word.
Overbearing?
Thank you. Overbearing.
Very
right
overbearing.
There you go. Very overbearing. She's demanding, you're going to do this. You're going to run my company, you know. And the daughter's like, I didn't even ask to run your, I don't even want no part of doing this. I want to follow my dream as an actor, you know. And it didn't go the way the mother wanted it to go. And it was kind of cool. I like that little clip that you guys put in there where the mother was trying to force her to take this new account.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a big medical account or something like that. And she's like, you know what, I didn't know nothing about this, you know. And she's like, oh, you know, introduce her. This is the lady that's going to do your account. Huh, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know who are you, you know?
Right. But it just goes to show, like, the mother didn't even need to consider her.
Right.
She was just like, of course you're doing this. This is what you've always done. Just like, you know, we have, our families sometimes put expectations on us without realizing that we're our own individual people.
It's about that breaking point.
And she had that breaking point in this film. Kind of fell out of my chair when I was watching your trailer, and his daughter just went, boom, she just slapped her mom. I mean, literally slapped the taste out of her mouth, you know? I mean, slapped her so hard,
Watch the
Google
film
couldn't
first.
even find her.
That doesn't happen, no.
Right. Didn't happen in real life, but that was a good clip. We never know the way they were in the film, but...
Do a good interview, I might have to...
This interview is going to be great then, 'cause I'm hiding over here behind him. So. But before I get on into the film, introduce this gentleman and what his role is in your filmmaking.
Okay, well, this is James Oersted.
Nice to meet you, James.
James, he co-directed.
Okay.
And I really want to give James some props over here. You know, he's my boy right now. So basically, we started production on this film. We were in pre-production. And I'm first-time director, direct theater all the time, but my first time directing a film. And I realized, as much as I loved it, as much as I felt like I can do it, there are technical things I did not know.
And this is where he comes in.
Yeah, technical things I just didn't understand. And that really, as a filmmaker, I felt like, oh, okay, I can't do this, when that's not true. You just need help.
Right.
And so James came along, and he was just teaching me some things, and then I realized, I was like, oh my God, look at the stuff. You're just making this better. Come co-direct. And then it just kind of happened, and it's just been invaluable. And even the process, even after, so much that we're working together on other projects.
Right. So he's like your sound guy. He does all the, you do sound tech.
Well, I
mean,
did
you're
the, I
very
did the sound.
technique.
I did the sound design on Becoming Bethany Rhodes. We actually hired a sound mixer to come in. It was nice because I was able to focus on just the directing.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I'm wearing lots of different hats, and it was kind of cool just to hone in on the performance and the camera stuff, the visual stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was
How
nice.
long did it take you all to actually film, edit, produce, and post-productions and everything on this?
Wow, the whole thing? Do I want to say
It actually happened pretty quickly.
about a month to do everything?
Probably
not bad.
pre-production,
Pre-production.
production, and
Maybe
let's just
maybe 2 months
maybe.
to do everything, like every
Yeah.
single thing.
Right.
Probably
It
about
came
that.
together though, and we didn't have to reshoot anything. We just shot it all in 2 days.
Yeah.
We had one mishap. Our lead actress, Irene, she ended up with a migraine in the middle of the climactic scene, and so we
Oh,
had
no.
to stop down for a little bit
Yeah.
until she
Right.
recovered from that. But other than that, yeah, everything went pretty smoothly, I'd say.
Yeah. And not even just like a migraine. I mean, this was just,
full
it was
blown.
funny. We were watching the performance. We were like, okay. And I was like, ooh, maybe that's a little much. And all of a sudden we're like, oh no. And Irene's just like slumped over,
No, no.
totally sick. And we had a scene coming up, magic hour, and we were like losing light. And it just worked out.
When you seen her story, I mean, you guys were in the middle of the shoot.
We were
you
in the
seen her
middle.
slump
In the
over.
middle of
that
the take.
scene,
of the
that-
take.
Right.
And,
So-
and we were like, oh, maybe she's overdoing it a little
maybe
bit.
just bring her down a little.
And it just started crying basically because the migraine was so bad. We thought it was overacting at first.
Well,
Did
she
you
went
look at
like-
her and say, hey, that's not part of the script?
No, we were watching her, and so
Yeah.
Bethany's like talking to her, and she's upset, and she just went, oh, and we're like, okay, and it was the headache.
Yeah,
She said it
yeah.
felt like someone stabbed her in the head.
Right,
Oh, no,
right.
it wasn't part of the clip.
It was not part of
Well, not
Bethany. Yeah,
intentional.
not intentionally, but I
Yeah.
think it added to her performance just
Yeah.
what she was going through.
We were able to include moments
Right.
of the migraine in there. There are moments in the edit, just
Yeah.
here and there. But yes, overall, of course, we went for a more subtle take.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, how was your, we always ask everybody on these because, everybody loves to shoot films. I love to shoot films. I mean, it's like my new
Yeah.
life. And,
Yeah.
and for the people out there, that wants to be the next up, independent filmmakers and stuff, what is some of the advice that you would tell people as far as funding? Because it costs money to do all this. I know this guy's not cheap when
Yeah.
it comes to engineering and directing. I mean, he has that expensive look on his face.
There's so many different avenues of getting funding. You can ask your friends, you can ask your parents, you could, if you're in a theater company or a theater group or something like that, you can ask people to get together. There's grants, there's funding, there's lots of different ways. I think one of the best ways, though, is to have someone that has a passion, that has a little bit of money to spend and wants to put it into your project. And it's just really about networking, coming to things like this, film festivals, meeting people at film festivals. Hey, you got this, I can offer this, and you put it together. You don't have to have tons of money to start.
It's networking.
It's
That's
networking.
the number
Key
one
word.
thing. And when it does cost a little bit to travel to come out to these festivals, but it's worth it. It's
Right.
worth it because it is
It's
all
worth
about
it.
See, I
networking.
couldn't, if I wanted to shoot a film and stuff, I couldn't depend on friends because, like you say, get friends that has money and has a passion. Well, see, all my friends, we don't have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out with,
Right.
and they all chase rabbits and eat roadkill, So I was like,
Hey, but they can hold the light, right?
then maybe.
Everyone can do
I probably wouldn't even
something.
trust them with the light. I'm just joking.
A little.
Just a little, yeah.
It's about, I
They
tell
can play zombies. No.
Now
they can be
do that.
background for you.
Right? Yeah. I mean, some of them could. Yeah, that's true. Maybe. I have to think about some of them.
Well, I'm an acting coach in Los Angeles, and so that's how a lot of this gets started. And a lot of my students, they're working like 3-4 jobs, some of them, just to come to
Just to
class
pay, right.
and to create their own content. So everyone's just saving and hustling and just trying to do it. And it's not going to be, like this big major blockbuster. It's not going to be perfect lighting and perfect sound right from the start. But you just got to go for it.
You got to start somewhere, right?
And look, we met. And we met from networking on other projects. Cool. It just happened.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna steal him from you and
He's
use him.
mine.
No.
Mine. Get off my man.
No. But yeah, I mean, this guy's very talented. I see how your work done. You guys did a really great job on that
Thank
film.
you.
So
Yeah, and this is Tanya. I don't think we've introduced.
Oh, hi, I'm some girl over here.
Right.
Thank you.
Say your full name for the camera.
I'm Tanya Lynette Smith. Hello.
Nice to meet you, Tanya.
And-
we
and
just
she wrote-
jumped right in this interview.
It's okay.
Yeah. But she wrote it. She wrote it and co-directed it with me. So.
Yes, I did.
Cool.
And produced. Did quite a bit of producing. Yes.
And produced.
So you have more than one hat in this situation.
More than one hat. Yeah, just wrote it. Knew I needed a co-director.
Got him.
Got him. He dealt with so many of the technical things and the acting things that I was able to slip in, do a little bit of coaching, come out. James would have, like, I didn't like that, go in and do that. I mean, it was just like, it was really nice.
Right.
Like, just really just honored that we had such a good relationship to be able to
And
pull
he
this
seems
off.
like he's got that cool persona about him, you know. I mean, him and I just clicked as soon as we met. You know, he's a cool dude. And I like his attitude.
You don't know him not.
Oh,
I got an evil side.
Got an evil side.
Don't we all? So.
Evil side. Get in the car.
Right now.
Don't slap me.
But are you having any future endeavors in doing more films or
Yes.
extending this film?
Tell them about what happened just because of this film.
Yeah. So like just the importance of networking and getting out there and it's at the festivals. So we'll be doing a residency in Romania.
In Romania.
Yeah.
I want to go on that.
Yeah. So we're doing an artist residency over there, basically writing and making a short film. Their film festival is producing it, backing it.
And it's our love, the one thing we have in common, which is
The horror films, yes, which we're going to be focusing more on. Yeah. The only problem is the coronavirus, of course, because we don't know where we can shoot this thing. So
Oh
we're
my God.
hoping.
even
we're
the other
hoping-
festivals we're getting into, like they're shutting down.
They're shutting down the festivals.
Everything is. I mean, we had to
Tough
shut
year
down our
for
award
festivals.
ceremony this
I
year and
know.
everything. You know, maybe we should come up with a film about the coronavirus. You know,
About people stuck in a hotel that can't get out.
and people going stupid over toilet paper.
With toilet paper.
Right.
It's crazy. So, but hey, it was a pleasure meeting you guys.
you.
Great job on your film.
Thank
and
you.
Let's go ahead and since I'm already keeping the public in suspense about what this film looks like, let's go ahead and bring you the film. So
Yeah.
y'all check it out and make sure you comment below and tell us your input on what you think on their film.
Thank you.
And just the clip, not the whole thing.
That's right. We're just going to show you just a little bit.
See,
just
we're going to have
tease
to
you.
bribe him now to not show the main part, right?
But yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and just show you some clips out of this film, and then you let us know what you think.
Thank
Here we
you.
go.
You were right again and again and again and wait, how many agains? Okay, it's just an audition. Hello?
Bethany Marie? I have been waiting in your office for 45 minutes.
Mom, you can't just walk in here anytime you want.
Well, maybe you shouldn't leave the door unlocked. Any lunatic can just waltz on in.
What are you doing here? Coffee. Is it 9 already?
No, Bethany, it's 10. 1 hour after 9, the time we were supposed to meet.
I'm so sorry. I mean, I've been trying to finish these quarterly financials, and I just figured I'd go into the office late because I've got that meeting with the insurance company later, and why didn't you just call me?
Well, I thought taking a nice drive through LA traffic would be so much more enjoyable. Of course, I called you Bethany multiple times.
Right. So you came here to scold me.
You listen to me, and you listen good. Your father and I gave you everything, everything. We could have hired someone much more qualified to run our company, but we chose you. Now you better march your ungrateful ass back in there and play nice, or so help me God.
I never asked to run your company.
Excuse me?
ladies and gentlemen, here we are back at it again up here at the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema, where we're here introducing all the filmmakers, actors, producers, and directors, and everybody that wears the hats in the film industry on the festival. They're up here showing and previewing their new films, and I'm actually got an interesting video here, or shall I say an interesting couple that shot an interesting video, and we got something actual was filmed in our local town of HEMET. So what is the name of your film? Riverside County?
It is. It's Riverside County.
All right. And what is your name?
My name is Mary Anzalone.
You got Vernon over here with you. You're the director, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So how did you find this guy?
We actually have worked together before. We've shot a feature film, and Vernon cast me as his lead, and it was just such a wonderful experience, and we clicked as the way we work, pretty easygoing, and so we've kept in touch and shared projects, and when this one looked like it was going to happen, I said, hey, come on out and let me show you HEMET and what we can do. And
was you surprised when she showed you HEMET?
Not really, no. I think I've kind of maybe driven through it before, and
you didn't get robbed or mugged or anything when you came through town.
I can handle myself.
Right.
Handle myself. No, I mean I work in the business as it is, so I'm usually exploring on my own and going out and seeing as much as California as I can. So I'm just glad to be able to come out here and see this part of town.
It's nice. I mean, just as long as you don't drink the water, you are all right. Right. So what based you to do the video here in Riverside County? Because I know you're from Texas, out there by Waco area. So was you in the area when David Koresh deal went down and all that?
I was probably in high school, and I had never heard of that group. So
you were not.
It's a lovely area. Of course, we have Chip and Joanna Gaines who've put us on the map, but I'm actually from Gatesville, a town 35 miles west of Waco, and I'm also doing plays, stage plays in Temple. So basically from Central Texas. And all of my film buddies and actor buddies are in Austin mostly, and so I've worked.
God bless Texas.
They basically have helped me have a career. The great people in Austin, Texas. So I'm definitely a Texan girl, but my mother and her sister grew up out here in California, and my cousins have been out here in HEMET, their whole lives. So I've spent summers coming out here. They taught me how to horseback ride out here in California. Cool. So I went back to Texas. Dad said, "Here's a rabbit for 4-H." I said, "Nope, want a horse."
Want a horse. I can't ride this rabbit.
can't do anything with a rabbit, Dad. So came back on summers and many occasions, and they've just been a great group of cousins. So what you see in the film is their home, their corral. That's Janet's horses. It's all based on my cousin Janet, and I'm basically playing her. And it was kind of it was definitely a labor of love, and they all helped us. So
what is the moral of your film? What's the plot of your story?
The core is a retired sheriff whose health is failing, and she teaches horseback riding students, and when one goes missing, she basically she can't sit still. She has to go out and do something about it and look for her, and she just can't give up what she's been trained to do. So she's sort of pulled back into the law enforcement world, and they want her to come back also, but she knows, she needs to do what she's doing to help the community in the way that she's helping it, being retired.
Right.
So we want to develop it and go as far as we can with it. We think it's a very strong idea and a good story, and the great people of HEMET have helped us, and Riverside County is where we're shooting it, so we are feeling confident about moving the project forward.
And she had a line in the film that said something about community and keeping community together. So I think that's a good message as well, especially HEMET being such a small area, a small town or whatnot. It's good to just everyone know everybody and take care of everybody in the community.
That's funny you said that, because that's one of my mottos, and that's one of the reasons why I designed and built HEMET News, to be community news for the community, by the community, not by me. It's just hosted by me.
Correct.
I always been raised, I'm from the South, Texas, Alabama, and Georgia.
Yeah.
And we always, our community, we're built to be able to look out for each other, not at each other. A community that unites together, survives together.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's why we're trying to teach people out here, but, sometimes it's like beating a horse, we're leading a horse to water and can't make him drink,
Everyone likes their privacy, but at the same time, it's just, you're in a small community, everyone needs to look after each other.
That's right.
It makes the way of life better.
And we're very mobile as a society, and there's a lot of transient things going on, and so crime is still happening, and you still got to watch out for it.
Always will.
I'm from a small town in Texas, Gatesville, and it's very similar to, you have this group of people, and they've grown up together, gone to school together, high school, all that. I mean, they just know each other.
Right.
And so when something happens in the community, everyone sort of pulls together. And that feeling was shared by my cousins and I, even though they're in California in a small town, and I'm in Texas in a small town. It's very much a universal feeling of, oh, something happened. Oh my gosh, let's pull together so this never happens again. What do we need to do to improve our community? But more than that, it's just a good story. I loved being able to tell a story that was about my cousin. She's far more in the way she lives her life, just a strong person, a good, hardworking person. The family's just wonderful. We recently lost my uncle, and that was difficult. And so all of this with the filming has just been nice to be able to connect with your family and do something.
So
and I love being outdoors, so
me too,
if I can shoot something outside,
Let's do it.
horses and dogs. Janet will say, her dog Blue was the co-star, probably more the star of the film, but.
Is that what kind of dog?
That's
was
the
it?
Australian Shepherd.
He's
Yeah.
one I've seen sitting on the
She's
couch licking his
15.
paws.
Yeah,
Wow.
she's 15. Blue's 15, and Storm was the horse that we
Okay.
used. So.
Now, you're playing your cousin in this film, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how long have you been acting?
I took my first acting class in 1998.
Wow.
So started on that journey and, went to a drama school in New York and have kind of bounced back and forth doing both theater and film.
What got you into acting? What inspired
I
you?
wasn't going to be an actor at all. I have a degree in communications and was going to see if I liked being in front of a camera to be a news reporter. But the news always seemed so stressful, depressing,
You got that right.
and now it's just escalated even more and controlled and used as entertainment. I took a class in the theater department, which was acting for the camera, and I thought, these people are having a lot of fun. They are running around having too much fun. And so I took an acting class and seemed to excel at it, and asked the professor, I just have a degree already. Where do I go to learn acting without spending $80,000? Because I didn't have it. And she said, go to this drama school. You can go for a year or two, and they'll teach you, very quickly the Meisner technique or whatever. And you can go back and start auditioning. And this has been more my writing, getting it out into the world, and my story ideas and project development, content and project development. So that's what I'm trying to move forward now. It's many hats to wear. As Werner will tell you, he's also a writer and director, and you're wearing all these hats of getting your projects and stories developed and getting them into the places where other people can say, hey, I want to be a part of that. That's exciting, that's good work. That story's solid. It's got a solid foundation. We need to move this forward. And, that's how things end up on Netflix and your TV, which we'll all be sitting home watching, I guess.
Pretty soon. It'll be up tomorrow. So what got you into the directing and the filmmaking? What inspired you to jump in on this bandwagon?
In college, I knew I wanted to do either radio or television. By television, I meant like broadcasting.
Right.
And I did internships and did stuff in college, and I just didn't like those fields at all. Radio was a little boring to me, and then broadcasting was just a totally different world. It didn't feel like there's anything really creative about it.
In this way, you can be very creative.
Creative, yeah. She's saying I write, but it's not something it's not my first passion. I would rather take someone else's story and help bring it to life, rather than writing my own words or anything like that.
Right.
It's work.
Yeah.
So you do editing too?
I don't do any editing. I try not to. I can, but I
Okay.
try not to. I used to do all that before, but now it's just if the right story comes in front of me, then yeah, I'd rather film that and do that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's more fun, right? So, how long did it take you guys to actually put this film together from scratch, from putting it on paper to putting it on an MP4?
Well, I wrote it and sent it to you.
And when she sent it, it wasn't in the script. I think it was like in a play format or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just sort of dialogue written as, you know, these are the moments that I would want to try to capture, and it was about 8 pages.
8 pages.
I think it was 8
yeah.
pages,
And then,
yes.
I read it and I was like, all right, we can work
do
with this.
this.
Yeah, we can do this. And we turned it into a script format, put in the script format. And I think maybe after that happened, maybe 2 months later we were filming.
It was rain. There was so much rain that, you know, we were
faster.
in contact with Janet. She said, "You just no way we can go out to the places that we had scouted here."
Everything
That it
was
was
flooded out.
just
Right.
yeah, too very similar to this weather you're having right now.
Well, you sure don't want to film in HEMET right now
Yeah.
unless you have a kayak or a boat, you know?
We were wondering if that was are we going to be able to get the rest of this in, because the
Right.
rains are coming. But
Now, if you didn't want to break your camera out that day, the sun will be out all day long. And
Yep.
as soon as you, all right, we're going to do this today, that's when it's just like it's going to rain on your parade.
I mean, it's funny you said, because at the beginning of the movie is in the barn, and well, the end of the movie takes place in the barn, and we shot that first, and it was nice and sunny outside, so it lit up the barn perfectly for us. We didn't use any lights or anything. But then when we went to the second half of the day and actually went out onto location, the clouds rolled in and the sky opened up and the rain was there.
Bottom fell out.
We were inside, yeah, it was perfectly fine inside.
Well, that's good.
First thing we stepped outside in the rain.
I'm surprised it doesn't show on the film, but I was soaked.
Yeah.
My hat was, when I would dip my hat down like this to look at something, water would just
Rush down.
pour off it, and I
Right.
thought, well, this is going to look interesting on film. You know,
Good blooper right there.
yeah, right there, where just rain coming
Did
off
you
my
guys
head.
actually get a lot of blooper scenes on during the shoot?
I don't know. Robert's got all the footage. We had a wonderful DP. Robert Murphy is just super talented. The stamina of standing out there and, you know, following me on the horse, and you know, he just did a great job. Great job with rain and the camera, you know. So
I don't think we had any bloopers.
I don't think we
really.
had any.
We knew we were fighting against time and we shot it all in a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, shot it all in a day, and then
Shot in one day.
Came back the next day and maybe shot like a couple of hours, and it was a different weather. And
Right,
helped
just
out
get some
perfectly.
B-roll and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we knew we were, you know, on time restraint, so we went out there and we knew what we were doing and just went after it. So not too many bloopers.
How was your group funding? I mean, did you have a hard time doing the funding on this?
It was pretty much me.
Really?
I think food is probably always the most expensive on a set, and maybe some post-production. You know, I wanted original music, so, you know, I'd worked with Steven before, and we just added a few things that I felt were important.
Okay.
Yeah, and most of the stuff we had, I mean, Janet had the horses and saddles, and, you know, so a lot of that was just, don't worry, we've got it, you know. I went out and got a few little things. I think we had a hat that, for a stunt woman, it wouldn't fit over the wig. The cowboy hat I had was a brown felt hat. It wouldn't fit, so I went out and bought a new straw hat, which worked because it was more spring looking than winter. So we, you know, little things like that. But overall, we had so much support for what we might have needed that it just,
That's
you know,
awesome.
Yeah, this was strictly
just
friends
came
and
right.
family.
Yeah.
coming out.
This is a friend and family-based oriented movie right here.
Yeah.
Okay, where can people follow you guys at, you know, online if they want to see more of your work and get any updates from you guys?
My company is called Lonesome Films, so if they go to lonesomefilms.com,
Okay.
that's plural, lonesome, just like it sounds, Lonesome Films with an S.com. That's where my work is. We probably won't have this up on the website right now,
Right,
but
'cause you're
you can.
trying to get
Yeah,
produced.
exactly. But some of my other films that have gone to festivals are up on that website, and people can watch them. And
Do y'all know how many nominations y'all have for this year at the festival?
4, I believe.
Four?
4, yeah.
4,
Cinematography, producing, actress,
and writing.
and writing, yes.
Okay. And I know you're going to get it. I mean,
Oh.
according to what I've seen on your trailer that you showed me, you guys did an awesome job. I mean, the editing, the script itself, the layout, you guys really did a phenomenal job on it. So.
Thank you.
Definitely need you guys to come to HEMET and do a story on some other stuff in HEMET, but that's another feature, you know. But I want to say congratulations to you guys on your hard work, and hopefully, you know, it's going to pay in the long run, and you guys make bank on this. You know,
You know, back in HEMET and filming more of this.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, I'm shooting some films out here in HEMET. I tell you what, I can show you some crazy stuff in this town at night. So,
Oh no.
we actually follow our police a lot. You know, we actually show. I'm doing a series like Local Law Live.
Right.
And it's like live PD, but you know, I get up and close and personal with our local sheriff department, police department, and CHP, and then I actually show the public the actual life of the officer and what they have to deal with on a daily basis. And a lot of people out here say, "Oh, well, the cops ain't, they don't do nothing but just chase coffee and donuts." Well, I'll show you what our cops are actually really doing out here at nighttime.
It's a high-stress job.
It's
it's high stress.
I used to help the police a lot in Alabama. I used to do undercover drugs. You know, I was one of the undercover buyers and stuff. And I tell you, my hats are off to these guys. You can't pay me enough to do what these guys do.
Yeah, it's all very risky.
It's very risky.
Yeah, the friend and the next and the pilot.
Yeah,
right here.
there you go. We might need you for the pilot. So.
Let's do it. Let's do it. But I want to go ahead and show everybody your video.
Thank you.
So what we're going to do is, before I do show the video, I got one last question. I know this film was shot in HEMET. Can you tell us where all this was shot at, so maybe some people might recognize some of these streets or places?
It's back in the hills. Janet would know more than I do. It's about 2 miles outside the hills that you're seeing, at RM Veterans Unity Ranch. So I know they have a website because they're trying to help the community and veterans with, you know, lots of post-traumatic stress and how, you know, you bond with horses and learn about them, and you meet other veterans and you go out and horseback ride. So I'm sure if you look up the RM Veterans Unity Ranch, you look up their website, and I'll tell you exactly where that is that you're seeing that I'm riding. And then the rest of it was right off Hackney Street. Hackney and Lyon over here. That's I don't know if Janet wants me to give out the addresses right there, but
no, we'll just leave it at the general area.
She teaches horseback riding lessons. So if anybody knows Janet Bernard, she's hard working out there every day, helping kids and adults, you know, learn how to be better horseback riders. And, you know, and then connecting with people in the community. So if anybody has an issue, you know, I think there was a mom recently that's helping out with some things in the community with food, and, you know, just all of that connection is positive. So
you got to keep it positive.
Yeah.
So, well, let's go ahead, and I don't want to hold the public in any more suspense on your film. So let's go ahead and pull up your footage, Riverside County, and check it out. Make sure you do comment below and let us know how you like her work and production. And I'm going to honestly say right now, they did a great job. So congratulations on that. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
And let us know what you think, folks. So let's check it out. Riverside County. All right.
Nathan. Jody Tatum. I'm at the old watershed base of the hill by the Steins' place. Yeah. We got a body. Oh, shit. I've got company. Old style ATV. Send backup, I'm riding home. Whoa, girl, whoa. Yeah, I'm home. Did you catch those guys, or do I need to sleep with my gun?
Jody,
Deputy.
we got your guys.
So what here? Is it our missing girl?
Yeah. Looks like it.
Guess we just can't rid the world of these scumbags fast enough. How old's your little girl?
She's 3.
I hope you weren't at the scene long.
They sent me over here. I'm fine with that.
I've seen things I wish I hadn't. Nathan's a good sheriff. Stick with his team.
Do you mind if I ask? Just how many bodies have you found out here?
Too many? Not enough? I ride a lot. So I just have access to places most people don't.
I guess once it's in your blood to search, you can't stop. Nathan said to give you this. When you're feeling better, he'd love to have you back.
Thank you. But I've had enough. I'm starting up my riding school again.
You training more recruits?
Helping kids and families. Keeping tabs on the community. We need to keep each other safe. She was one of my riders.
I didn't know. Miss Tatum.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's me again, that crazy guy with the lazy eye with HEMET.news.com and also Idyllwildeyenews. And we're up here with the international, or shall I say the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema, where we have filmmakers, actors, directors, and actresses, and all kind of people from all over the world is out here. So we're actually here with some great people that made a film. What is the name of your film that you shot?
Thanks so much. We did the Los Angeles anthology series together. It's 8 short films. And
8 short films?
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
So y'all were real busy.
Yeah, very busy.
So what's your film about?
Well, it's a dark comedy about the realities of living and trying to survive in Los Angeles, and it's pretty female-centered, but it's a freeform anthology, so.
And how did you survive Los Angeles?
We're still surviving.
Right.
We're still trying to figure it out.
Are y'all surviving the coronavirus and the panic that everybody's having?
So far so good, yeah.
Right, man, I tell you what, you can't even get in the stores out here right now. It's so bad. So
It's
that's
a
why
lot
I
of
was telling you before our interview. I said maybe we should get you to come out to HEMET and shoot a film saying surviving HEMET.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting comedy show right there.
We would
So
love
Yeah,
to.
that'd be great.
definitely,
Next
we're
project.
going to have to get your contact information.
For sure.
So talking about your film Surviving LA, give me a little bit of the moral of your story that you based your film on as far as surviving Los Angeles.
I think the main focus of our anthology was to highlight, like we said, the darker sides of living in LA, but again to include the humorous parts of that. You know, in the struggle there's always room for laughs, and I think the moral of the story is just that even when things are impossible or frustrating or overwhelming, you can find the comedy and find the funny, and we hope we did that. Some of the shorts are darker than others, some of them are lighter than others, but we wanted to give people kind of a mix, and also give all the filmmakers that we worked with creative freedom, because we worked with 15 women filmmakers, and each of them got to express themselves basically how they wanted. So there's a lot of diversity and variety in the shorts, and yeah, I think that's part of the ethos of the project as well.
Right. How long did it take you guys and gals to put this film together?
A long
20
time.
years?
Yeah, it was quite a while. We've been at this for a year now.
No, 2 years.
2
Emily
years.
always answers the question and says, yeah,
Sorry.
like 4 months.
She had so much fun shooting that she lost
exactly.
track of time,
I had
right?
so much fun that it went by in a breeze for me, and it's
I
just
hate
been going.
She hates you in a loving way.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's because
so
Emily's
2
the
years.
executive producer, not the line producer.
That's true. Yes, you had a lot more work, paperwork especially, than I had to do.
But yeah, it started in April 2018 is when we first met.
Okay. Now, what inspired you to shoot this film?
Well, actually, it was with myself and my co-creator, Jasmine Chong, who's not here with us today. But she and I were kind of just sick of trying to establish a career for ourselves in Hollywood. And as many of us now know, the landscape is quite uneven.
Right.
And so we just wanted to do something that was very empowering for women, empowering for ourselves, and help our friends and kind of all raise our careers. And give everyone something to build off of, maybe just a start if it was their first film. Some filmmakers in the series are greener than others. For some more seasoned filmmakers, we just wanted to build our portfolio. And it started with us kind of just having a collective moment of saying, we've had it, let's just do it ourselves.
We've had enough,
Yeah.
let's do it the right way.
Yeah. And
now, how long have you been in filmmaking?
well, I started, I'm not sure how to answer that question, because like I started taking classes when I was 15, and that's when I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to make movies. But I think professionally, just working in Los Angeles specifically, it's been about 6 years.
Okay.
So yeah, going on my 6th year.
And now,
Yeah,
how
so-
did you guys both meet?
We had mutual friends.
Mutual friends,
Yeah.
Friends. Okay.
Mutual like filmmaker actor friends.
Now, did you both do any acting in this film, or?
You did. I'm not an actor.
I act in one of the films called Ultra Woman. I play an ultra runner running a 100-mile race with her pacer and trying to get through the brutal push to the finish line.
I bet she ran out of breath. Running 100 miles.
Yeah.
So, how many people were involved in shooting this film?
Oh, quite a lot.
Yeah,
you know the number because you had to hire the crews and stuff.
We had a cast and crew of 111
Wow.
people total.
Yeah.
Each short film had a different crew. Some overlap, but they were all separate casts. And so it was a lot of people.
Gotcha.
But great to give opportunity to that many, up-and-coming filmmakers and creatives.
And how did the funding go with this? Did you do crowdfunding? I mean, because I know it's not cheap to do all this production
No,
and editing.
you were right. We learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Tell me about that.
Well, we had to be very creative and clever by stretching the dollar as far as it would go. We got about 80% of our funds was it both production and post-production?
Yeah.
Or was it? Yeah. So we never reached 100% of our goal both times we crowdfunded. But we had to get really creative and make every dollar count. And I have Sarah to thank for that because she was really crafty with trying to make that that spread as far as possible.
She knows how to make things happen.
I mean,
She does.
It was not
She
just me.
does.
There were teams and teams of people, and everybody helped. I mean, with crowdfunding, like the name of the game is just involving as many people as you can. And we were lucky. Our first round was really successful. Our second round was not as successful, but that's like to be expected. And we still had a lot of people supporting us. So.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
What were some of the fun times that you did shooting this? I know a lot of times when you're out shooting films, you know, you have just things that just don't go right and you have to retake. And have you had any of those crazy moments in your filmmaking?
Actually, I would say like we've been pretty good with.
No.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I would say, you know, like we haven't had to reshoot anything. That was going to be my answer for that question, because we have been so clever and efficient, like you especially, just organizing everything.
Complimenting me.
No, truly. So for that reason, you know, we haven't had any major obstacles of like doing reshoots or anything like that. But I can only speak for myself when I said I've had so much fun, because I got to be on set all the time with my friends. For budget reasons and for a lot of the shorts, I was actually a first AC. So I got to just do my job and work. So I was having a great time, but you had all the paperwork to do. So I would have hated that.
No, I didn't mind that. We had one really fun experience on a shoot where we were shooting the Ultra Woman film, where we were like out in the woods at this park. And we had been told that our permit closed off the whole park and like nobody could bother us. Come to find that the exact stretch of the land that we had reserved to like do the running sequences, that everything has to be like perfectly timed with camera and me running, it's like there was a bike race happening. So like in the middle of our takes, bikers would come zooming through and like they started yelling at us, and like parents kept bringing their kids through, and we set up like caution tape that they like slashed and like it was just everything that could have gone wrong on that shoot. And when we were losing light, it's like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
We should have just shot that. That would have been another dark comedy for us.
Right, exactly. That would have been a good blooper right there.
Yeah,
would have saved money for sure.
Man, so I guess when you were getting into your moment, you was in your character and you were doing your running, the film shoot's going really good, and all of a sudden these people just show up, start screaming, you're like, cut, and you had to reshoot it.
I mean, I don't know.
Or did you just put them in the film being stupid?
Yeah, I think we just kept going. Like, I think the great thing and also the hard thing about making movies on your own is like the chaos magic that happens, you know, like you just sort of have to work with it, and you can't lose your cool, because nobody's going to be there to pay for you to have an extra day of after your meltdown, you know. So like,
but we did just talk about this, and I said when we're watching it now at the screeners, you can't tell that all that chaos was happening.
Well,
you stayed in character.
Good editing, huh?
Yeah,
good
directing.
Kwanzaa Gooden, amazing editor, director.
Kwanzaa Gooden, she did a great job directing, editing. You can't tell that we had all of this trouble shooting that film. It just looks really seamless on screen, and so I think that's something to be proud of personally.
Okay, well, you know, talking about it, how many nominations have you guys got up here at this festival this year?
Quite a few.
We've been nominated for the Score Award, and then
the Roger Taylor
Acting
Award,
and Producing, Ensemble Cast Award, which is the one we're most proud of because we love our actors, and like that's a huge compliment. We worked really hard on casting specifically to make sure we had, you know, like a really strong, diverse group of people, and we had some first-time actors in the cast, which like we're so proud of. They just did an amazing job, and we're really grateful for that. And in all the nominations, it's a huge honor, especially with the jury here. It's really esteemed people, and it's kind of nerve-wracking, but
exciting. Nothing has never, especially in this line of work, shooting films, it's always, I'm surprised you girls don't have gray hair by now.
We get highlights. It's not, we hide it.
Are you guys having fun up here so far, meeting and mingling with all the other filmmakers and stuff?
This I don't know about you. It's my first time here at Idyllwild, and I'm having a great time. I think it's just beautiful up here. The people are great, and the town is so charming. Like we keep talking about that.
We're gonna give up our leases in LA.
Yeah, we're just gonna come on up here.
Right?
We're
Everybody
moving.
wants to move to Idyllwild. It's beautiful up here. The town look out for each other instead of at each other. I mean, everybody networks together up here. You know, and it's all about surviving together.
Yeah, well, it's a great sense of community. That's for sure. I love it.
The people are great up here. You know, and feel sorry for them when the snow comes in because all the flatlanders come up here and just destroy the place.
Oh
you know? But, That's a neat. I even shot some video up here where people just, they come up to visit the snow and they just stop and park right in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Oh my
And that's
goodness.
it. And you think you got in a traffic jam and you look, there ain't
they're just
nobody in the
taking
vehicles,
Yeah. Oh boy.
And it's ridiculous, just people just don't use common sense when they come up here and visit.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's a great place. It would have been a lot better if we didn't have all this rain and you guys could enjoy yourselves.
No, it's
Still
beautiful.
pretty.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so
Still love it.
gorgeous.
Y'all
Yeah.
missed the snow yesterday. We did have some snows.
I saw the tail end of it. I came in later in the day and I was blown away. I was floored.
Too bad
It was
didn't
gorgeous.
stick, so
Yeah.
we could throw some snowballs at each
Oh,
other.
Maybe tomorrow.
Right, right.
I mean, it's so amazing. This is like a mini Sundance, like it truly is, and I hope more people come and find out about it. It's like incredible, yeah.
We would have had more people up here, but
I know.
this corona
Yes,
scare,
yes,
we had a
yes.
lot of
Yeah.
filmmakers cancel. We had to cancel the award ceremony over there at Golden Era because the governor has put out that alert, and anything over 250 people, it's done.
Yeah.
Can't do it. So it really threw a wrench in this season, but we're staying strong. We're continue going. We're going to make it happen. So.
Yeah, you guys have been great. Just doing things on the fly.
Oh, they
yeah.
are. Trinity, I got to
Fixing
shout
it,
out to
yeah.
Trinity Houston. This poor girl, I told her my hat was off to her because the
Mine
stress
too.
this poor lady's been going through. I mean, she's been working on the cancellations. She has her plan B, plan C, plan B falls out, got to go to C and D. So, I got to hand it to her. This lady, she's going to be exhausted after this thing. I told her, I said, I know when you get done with this festival, you're going to sleep for a month, with all the stress. But
She's doing great. I haven't been able to tell a difference from like what should have been versus what it is. I think it's wonderful.
Oh, she's right on top of it. Anything malfunction, she's in there wrenching it.
Yeah.
So, but how long is this film that you got that we're getting ready to show?
It's a little bit over an hour.
An hour film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when is your viewings?
We actually we finished them today. Yeah. We had it at around noon or noon 30.
Noon 30?
Noon
Yeah,
I
noon
like
30.
her. I like her
Thank you,
already.
noon 30. All right. Oh, sorry. That's how I say it.
You're talking some redneck language.
Oh,
like
all right.
me,
Sorry. That's how I
it.
say it. I don't know.
Noon 30. That was a new one. I like that.
Okay.
But let's go ahead, before I go into your film, how can people follow you on social media to be able to follow your film movements?
You want to cover that one? She's been doing all the social
Instagram
media.
is at Los Angeles Film. It's less with 2 S's, Los Angeles Film, and that's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are they able to see your full film online or just partial?
Not yet. We're crossing our fingers for distribution and stuff. So hopefully get that. If not, we're gonna wait until the end of this year, and if nothing happens, then we'll put it online for everyone to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in the meantime, let's just show them a little bit of a sneak clip of just some of your clips and everything, and then I can't show the whole film. If I did, then I have to kill you because she's going to kill me.
Yeah.
She knows how to use nunchucks. So
Oh,
I
I'm
do.
not messing with her, folks. So let's go ahead and do that. Make sure you do follow them on Instagram and Facebook, all their social medias, and make sure you tell them the crazy guy with lazy eye said hi from HEMET. Till then, let's check out a few clips of her trip. And then what we'll do is I'll play some footages of that, and then to go out of your trailer, and then into the next interview.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is a blast. Thank you for
Awesome.
letting us.
What is your, it's HEMET, what?
HEMET News, official
HEMET
page
News,
on
all right.
Facebook.
And that's where you guys came from?
Yeah, in HEMET. I own News, and I also own Idyllwild. All right, well, hello everybody. It's me again, that crazy guy with the lazy eye and the not so crazy guy with the straight eye. He comes with the hand sanitizer, the mask and all prepared for the coronavirus. Did you bring any toilet paper?
You know what? I'm more of a baby wipe guy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You can't find toilet paper nowhere, anywhere. So.
Yeah, I know. But just in case, I just pop a squat in the woods with a little bit of wet wipes, and you're good to go.
That's right. And if you can't find those, you have to go organic. You got plenty of leaves on the trees, So
That's
don't use
true.
poison
It's
ivy.
true.
All right.
It reminds me of that joke, the bear and the rabbit taking a poop in the woods.
Right.
And the bear says to the rabbit, "Excuse me, rabbit." Rabbit says, "What? Do you have problems with poop sticking to your fur?" The rabbit says, "No." So the bear wipes his butt with the rabbits.
Right.
Yeah. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie.
Can't find toilet paper, we'll just go rabbit hunting.
Exactly,
That's right.
yeah.
So, who have I have a pleasure of speaking with today? You want to introduce yourself?
Sure, yeah. My name is Mark Atkinson, and I am a producer on 92115, a little short film. I'm an actor in it as well, and it's a little comedy about the trials and tribulations, based on a true story, by the way, of Ryan Bradford, based on an article in the San Diego Reader of his experience being a San Diego mailman for about a few years ago.
Okay, I wonder how many kids this guy's got around with all these girls I've seen on your trivia. Hey, yeah, it's a hot-looking mailman right there, you know.
Oh, you're talking about the actor. See, that was actor Luke Monday playing Ryan Bradford, yeah. But it's based on his story. Adapted by Jordan Jacobo and directed by Kevin Ostratus.
Shout out to them. They did a great job.
They did a great job, yeah. Unfortunately, they're not here to, promote it like me due to the coronavirus. But what can I say? I'm a survivor.
That's right, and he don't drink Corona, so that's why he's a survivor.
I don't. I refuse to get that virus because I don't drink Corona. I rarely drink beer, but when I do, it's Dos Equis.
There you go. Stay away from the Corona, you'll be all right, right?
Exactly.
So tell me, what actually inspired you guys to shoot this film?
Well, this was actually a student project a couple years ago. It's about a 2-year-old film. Well, we made it 2 years ago, and now it's out in the film festival circuit. But we had an idea that we wanted to adapt some literature and make it into a short film. So we adapted this article that Ryan Bradford wrote based on his experience as being a postal service carrier in San Diego in zip code 92115, and it was a lot of fun to make. This guy Jordan Jacobo adapted it. And then Kevin Ostratus took directional lead. I helped produce it. I played a little part to it. Played Craig, the douchebag asswipe boss. Yeah.
So you had a good role.
Oh, it was great. It was
Did
amazing.
you act your part out real well?
You could say that. Originally, I thought I'd be like the Ryan Bradford character, because I can do that. But I think the schedule didn't really work out, so I'm like, all right, I'll just produce and, I'll get a little bit part. And the part I play is like this really tall, bald, militant guy. And I'm not tall or bald, so we just kind of threw on like a crappy little hairpiece that I got at a Halloween store, and just gave me like a little Napoleon complex syndrome. Yeah, exactly.
Put a little bit of play in that.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, how long did it actually take you guys to shoot this film?
I'd say we only shot it probably about 3 weeks.
Oh, right. So I was crunching on
that. Yeah. You know what, honestly, it could have been even less than that. I mean, it was a class project. So I don't even think, I think the whole pre-production thing was maybe about a week. And then the principal photography may have been 2 weeks, so we'll call it 3 weeks. And then, we did some editing, some ADR and all that stuff, and debuted it. And it's had a nice little festival run.
Cool. Now, what kind of cameras did you guys use to shoot this?
Like a T5i. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so just DSLRs, relatively inexpensive. It's actually premiered at some decent film festivals, and it's been, maybe not as high standards as some of the other films. And then when I'm doing the Q&As, I say, well, that's awesome. You shot, your film on a red, and congrats. It's a great, beautiful film. We did ours on a DSLR. On a DSLR, yeah. Right. A T5, yeah, exactly. A T5i, and we did it for about $250.
Oh, see, when you're on these budgets like this,
exactly,
you got to do crowdfunding and try to fund these films. It takes a lot of money. I've actually interviewed some people that actually sold their homes just to make their film, but they got their money back.
Oh, wow, really?
I don't know if you've seen the preview, Losing Laredo.
I have not. They sold their home?
They sold their homes and everything just to put this film together.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
The film was so good that, they made it back 10 times fold. So.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, we didn't, I don't know. I don't think we sold anything. I mean, I sold like a 1989 Wade Boggs baseball card, and that's about it.
Right.
Yeah, no, we actually got privately funded because it was like a class project.
That's
yeah,
a great thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Then we threw in, I don't know, of the 250, I'd say about 150 went to the food for the cast and crew.
Oh wow.
The other 100 went for maybe the U-Haul that doubles as a mail truck.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you make a movie about the U.S. Postal Service, you got to hold it in a high light.
Exactly.
And our film doesn't.
Right.
So we had to cheat. We couldn't use their logos and albums and. We couldn't use any of that stuff, so we had to improvise, if you will. All the uniforms.
You guys did a good job improvising.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So, where can people follow you at if they want to follow your films and follow your upcoming productions and?
Sure. Well, we do have a Facebook page, but I haven't really updated it lately.
Okay.
But it'll probably finish its festival run in the next couple of weeks. This was one of 2 festivals it was supposed to be in. It was supposed to be at the San Diego Latino Film Festival, but they unfortunately, due to the coronavirus,
Well, the media don't help. Some of the media don't help with this coronavirus.
Exactly,
issue,
yeah. They canceled their festival, unlike yours. So thank you for having us. Yeah, and it'll be debuting tomorrow. I know this isn't live, but what is this? This is Friday. It'll be Saturday tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then there'll be one more festival that we're up for. We'll see if we get it in. If we do, great. If we don't, then we're just going to probably throw it on Amazon Prime.
There you go.
Yeah, in the next few months.
How can they find you on Facebook?
Well, my name is Mark Atkinson. I'm just one of the producers on it, but it'll probably be on under Kahuna Productions or the San Diego Film Consortium. You can Google anyone to kind of. It'll show up on Kevin Oersted. He's the director. Jordan Jacobo, Ryan Bradford. Or just friend me on Facebook or IRG, Instagram, and then I'll send you a link or something like that.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead. You did provide us with a trailer of your film.
I try.
Yeah.
You want to see the poster real quick?
Yeah, let's show
Okay, cool. Here's the poster. I'm really proud of the poster. An artist named Edgar Rodriguez, I'd like to give him a shout out, did all the characters. It's not a cartoon, it's not animated, but we wanted to go for that like 1980s meatballs kind of poster. That's me right there, and that's Ryan Bradford and a bunch of other cast of characters, and these are all the laurels that made it to Edgar.
Hey, this guy looks like my next door neighbor right here.
Oh, that's me actually. You can't tell because I've got the
right,
the mask.
There you go.
Yeah.
Got to cover that beauty up, right?
Cover up the beauty, exactly, from the paparazzo.
That's right.
And the corona.
So how long have you been in the filmmaking industry?
I don't know, probably like on and off, like about 10, 12 years.
Really?
Yeah.
What actually got you inspired to want to do the filmmaking?
Well, I started as an actor, and then, I really started as a stand-up. And then I got into improv. And then I got into acting, and then I got into producing and writing, and every once in a while I'll direct. I'm not a very good director.
Right out here in Idyllwild.
Right out here in the hub of independent film, Idyllwild. Yes, exactly. Idyllwild, California. You guys are survivors, though.
Hey, we got it.
Everyone else said, no, we're canceling it. Idyllwild said, F you, Corona. We're doing this.
We're going to pour the Corona down the sink and keep on rolling. So.
Exactly.
But let's go ahead and pull up your video and let's show the public your little.
Would you like a little?
Every 30 minutes, right?
Okay, every 30 minutes. I got gloves and a mask and glasses, so I'm good.
So, let's go ahead and play the video.
I drink the stuff.
And see what the people think of your video.
Okay.
And, this is a little trailer that they made, just a teaser. You got to follow them more for the video. So let's go and check it out. And then after the video, we'll go to the interview of the next artist out here, and actor, promoter, demoter, director, assistant directors. We got all kind of people up here. So.
Yeah, we're a bunch of film sluts. So.
Oh man, I know it. So I'm gonna start my own film out here.
Yeah.
I'm actually shooting. I'm gonna go into porno.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called tow porn. I'm actually going to be doing tow trucks, showing like Tow Truck Lives Matter.
Really?
And I got a sponsor, Dave Clark, with Clark's Towing.
Okay.
And he's actually come out with he does Instagram and Facebook, and he hashtags tow porn.
Toe
on
porn.
all this stuff. So,
Would it be like a porn, like you know, this hot starlet, Starlet kind of, you know, her transmission all of a sudden slides,
right.
and all of a sudden she's conked out on the side of the road, and this like masculine, you know, lumbersexual type guy gets out and says, "I can tell you."
There you go. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah?
And normally out here, though, it's more like it's conked out on the side of the road and some idiot comes by and hits you, you know.
Yeah, well,
That's
the roads are a little, yeah, they're little roads out here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not really the roads. A lot of it is, you know, even out on the freeways, people are too busy texting and driving,
Sure.
and they're not paying attention.
No.
And you got police cars, you got fire trucks, you got tow trucks, you
Cows.
know, exactly.
Yeah.
And these people are too busy, you know, being sidetracked and not even paying attention to what they're doing, and boom, before we know it, we got a tow truck driver killed, or we have a CHP officer hit and killed, and
Yeah.
you know, so it's more of a motto to tell people, you know, slow down and move over. Use
Slow
common
down.
sense. So follow us for that too.
And no drinking and driving.
That's right. If you must drink and drive, do the watermelon crawl, folks. So let's go ahead and check out this trailer.
It's my first day at the Andrew Jackson Post Office, zip code 92115.
Mr. Bradford.
Nice cock.
Huh?
Hey, sexy mailman! Lick you to death.
These are the things that haunt your nightmares the first couple of weeks.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that prior video that we just showed with the interview of the last artist and filmmakers and actors. Did a really great job. We're now with another filmmaker. What is your name?
Mary Rotano.
Mary, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you
So
too,
where are
Eddie.
you from?
I'm from Montana.
Montana. How's the weather up there?
We had real temperate weather until I came down here, and then it snowed. But yeah.
Well, maybe you'll be bringing the snow down here with us, because we're calling for snow now because you're here.
Because yeah, they must have followed me down.
It did. You had it in your briefcase and
Yeah,
didn't know
I
it.
did.
So.
As soon as I open it up, there it is.
There it is. So hey, you brought beauty with you, right?
I tried.
Right. So tell me a little bit. What is the name of your film that you have?
The name of the film I am an associate producer on, and actually an actress in, is Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering Heights. Okay.
Yes.
And what is it about?
It is a story. It's a stormy drama love story based on the Old English novel from Emily Bronte, Wuthering Heights. It's an adapted screenplay from that book.
And what happens in this play?
The story is about a gentleman named Heathcliff who has had a real rough go at life, and he gets adopted into a family that takes him on as his own, and he finds his way, and he finds love in a very dysfunctional way, from sort of like a rivalry family, if you will. And it's about Heathcliff and Kathy finding their way to each other and then pulling apart, tearing apart, and finding their way to each other and pulling apart, hopefully finding their way towards redemption. And it's a narrative that's told through the eyes of Nellie Dean.
Okay. Awesome. So how long did it take you to actually put this movie together?
We were looking at a production time a little over 5.5 years.
Wow, so you got a lot of work into this.
We have a lot of work into it. Our filming primarily was over the first 3-ish years, and then the post-production has taken about 2.5, not quite 2.5 years.
Gotcha. So what actually inspired you to shoot this film?
All that credit would have to go to Brian Ferreter, who is he's our producer, he's our editor, he's our director, he also lead acts in it. And the notion came to him from one of his college buddies. He had read Jordan Onville's adapted screenplay of Wuthering Heights, and a vision blossomed in him to bring the story to life, Montana style.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So how did you guys get to interact with all the other actors? How you located the people to play in this film?
The players were largely brought in from previous work that we had done with each other. Brian and I have worked together on previous films as another person. He's an associate producer and actor. Ryan Pfeiffer, we're all theater mates up in Montana. Our executive producer, production manager, producer, Quincy, at the time, Brian and Quincy were dating, and so she was a natural fit for bringing in a lot of the business sense and then wrangling all of us cats together, because you get a bunch of artistic people together, they kind of need direction.
Exactly right.
She did a great job with that. And then our director of photography and producer, Jason Rogers, was someone we worked with on 2 previous films as well.
Okay, so this is not your first film that you've done then?
No, with this particular group, it's Interwoven Studios Production Company. This will be my 3rd film with them. Yeah, with them anyway. And then I've personally worked with 3 or 4 other production companies on other independent film.
What got you into the film business?
I started out acting in the theater, and I loved it so much that way back about a decade ago, I had helped put a small black box theater on its feet. And that film really thrived for a while, and then it went belly up. And for a little while, I was like, what do I do? What do I do? The main community theater in town was doing productions that were amazing. I was feeling called in a different direction.
Right.
And then as you artistically, you just start putting your feelers out, and I connected to some filmmakers in Bozeman, which is about an hour and a half away from where I lived. And I started volunteering at film festivals and started just talking to people, creating relationships, and then studying in different places. Like, I came down to LA for film acting classes, and I've gone out to Portland and Atlanta. And feeling my way, I've expanded a journey that has led me to really diving deep in film myself.
And now look at you here.
I know, right? All the way out here. Yes.
So
yes.
what actually gave you the idea to give the title of this movie Wuthering Heights?
Wuthering Heights comes straight from Emily Bronte's book, actually.
So it's based on the book.
Right, and staying true to the story and what our creator, Brian Farragher, really would say is the spirit of Emily Bronte, staying true to her spirit.
Okay, and how long is this film?
We did everything we could to cut it down, and it's an epic. It's slightly over 2 hours and 20 minutes, and if you include credits, it's about 2 hours and 30 minutes. Okay. And it's a tough movie to cut down shorter than that.
Yeah, because I've seen this film's got a lot of detail, a lot of information in it. I mean, I love the way that you guys put this thing together. Yeah. I mean, the editing was great. I mean, it's just, I'm going to have to hire you guys to do some of the films for me, you know. I mean, I really appreciated your work that you guys did on this, and it took for 5 years. I mean, I know you guys had a lot of ups and downs doing this film.
We did.
What are some of the experiences and some of the tragedies that you went through shooting this film that just made you want to pull your hair out?
The tragedy, I don't know if we had any particular tragedies. The pulling the hair out had to do with the lack of funding, and then the main thing, and the timing for everything, and knowing that we didn't have the available funding always immediate. It was done through crowdfunding and private sourcing. We did have a time variable element that was a time, as long as you don't think you're going to pass away like anytime soon, you have a bowl of time expansion for expending on things that are your passion projects.
Gotcha.
So,
now, on this film here, how many nominations do you have?
That's a good question. I just got down here. I think we are up to 6 or 7.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
So you're excited to see what's going to happen at the end of this festival, huh?
Yeah, I am.
Now, are you the only one here? Do you have anybody else here with you representing this film?
Quincy Chiava, our executive producer and production manager, was here Tuesday when the show screened. Okay. And as at the moment, I am flying solo. She'll be up here on Sunday. So I'm doing the job of repping the team.
All right, so you're the main one up here right now.
I'm the main one up here, but certainly
wearing all the hats.
All the hats up here, but not by a long shot. I would give many shout outs to Brian, whose really illustrious vision and passion has just kept driving this forward.
Now, he's the one that wore all the hats, actor, director, editor.
Yeah, he was always switching hats.
Right.
Yes. And Quincy just was all up, snap a finger, and she had business elements snapped up. Jason's been very instrumental. He's based out of Salt Lake, and very instrumental in getting together a lot of our post-tech team for in the Salt Lake area. Brian got our first sound guy out of Texas together, as well as connected with the composer Michael Klubertans out of Germany.
Germany.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. What else was I was going to ask you? You just slipped my tongue. While you were shooting this film, how many bloopers did you guys end up going through on this? You know, everything you do on film, there's going to be bloopers. What was some of the exciting bloopers? Like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that, or you know.
I think the bloopers would really be what, if you were to take the camera and like turn it around 180 degrees, what you'd see, like at one point we had, I had gotten a wheelchair so that we could put Jason in it so he could hold the camera and he could trot along with it. We experimented with camera movement that way.
Right.
And at one point when we were doing one of the carriage scenes that's in we got the original footage from England, but we needed a close-up of the actor. So what we did was, again, if you were to flip the camera 180 degrees, Brian, Jason, and Ryan and I, Jason has got the camera, he's standing at the front of this rickshaw, our actor's there, I'm holding up an umbrella. Brian is at the head of the thing, help keeping it connected to the farm truck so that we could get we didn't need much, we needed just a close-up on the actor so we could get the hair and the scenery going by. So some of the rigging that we did to get the shots, I think, not necessarily bloopers, but definitely feats of what might be called MacGyverisms, you know.
I got a good word for. I'm a hillbilly and redneck. Y'all was rednecking this stuff.
Redneck engineering would be a great way to do it.
Hey, if you got duct tape, zip ties, and coat hangers and coat cans, you can fix anything.
Yes,
Make
you can.
anything happen.
Yes, you can.
So. But how can people actually go in and follow you for upcoming events, upcoming updates on your films, and follow your work and movements?
Right. Right now we have a Facebook page titled Wuthering Heights, and there are a few Wuthering Heights pages. So you want to go Wuthering Heights Interwoven Studios.
Okay.
And then if you go out to Instagram, we are Wuthering Heights 2020, I believe, is our handle for that. We also have a web page, WutheringHeights2020.com, and those would be the three main places right now to watch the journey of the film.
All right. Well, talking about the film, let's go ahead and go into your trailer and let's show people what your film is and give them a little bit of teaser. And if you want more, well, you just have to come back later and see the film.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and roll that.
All right.
Have you ever had bad dreams in the night? I dreamt I was in heaven once. And I was miserable there. And I filled my heart with weeping. And the angels were so angry that they thrust me out right on top of Wuthering Heights. And I woke up sobbing for joy.
Mr. Heathcliff? I'm Lockwood, your new tenant, sir, at Thrushcross Grange.
Let me in. I'm so cold.
Don't leave. Come back.
It would be a charitable deed to tell me something of my neighbours, Miss Dean.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're still up here in Idyllwild, here at the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema 2020. Hashtag IIFC 2020. You see all of our videos that we're doing up here, and today I'm here with my third interview here on Today is Friday. And I'm here with some filmmakers, and how are you guys doing today?
Very well,
Fantastic.
thank you. I'm Kellyanne Murphy, the producer of Liam and May.
Nice to meet you. And who's this fine gentleman here with you?
I'm Keith Murphy, Kellyanne's brother, and I'm the writer-director and executive producer of Liam and May.
Okay, now what inspired you guys to actually come up with this movie?
Well, I'll let Keith answer for the inspiration and how and why he decided to do it, but it's a true story, so it was something that came out of family events. Go ahead.
The story is about our paternal grandparents, basically, who were a very unique, interesting couple through stories told around the family dinner table and that sort of thing, that I kept thinking, these characters are outrageous for the time that they lived in. And I said, I'd love to make a film, whatever. And one day I put pen to paper. I went total old school, legacy style,
right.
Pen to paper. And then once I started, the ink would not come out of the pen fast enough. It was incredible.
Wow.
And the equivalent of most people know, 20 or so rewrites later, we went to camera in June of 2018. And finished post right at the end of November of 2018, and then started submitting to festivals.
Oh, so how many festivals have you been in so far?
Oh, I am tracking them. I am tracking them. It's been a long time since we've updated that to memorize it off by heart. But I'd say we're got to be at about 18 or so festivals.
Yeah, we've had great success.
How many awards did y'all get so far?
We're doing okay.
We've got about a dozen or so, and many more nominations, which is really exciting and so appreciated.
Well, the thing is, a lot of the nominations are for key people on our team, and we don't make this film without those people.
Yeah, it's all about teamwork.
Yeah, man, you can't do it by yourself. No one can.
You know, you can do certain things by yourself, but when you want to do a period piece like this is set in Dublin, Ireland, 1938, right before the outbreak of World War II, and that's part of the story of Liam and May. Liam is an Irish Army intelligence officer. May is about to burst onto the international scene, opera soprano, and they have a very, very unique relationship. At one point they were madly in love, and then Liam's life after fighting in 3 wars from 1916 through to 1920, the Irish Rising on Easter Sunday, then the War of Independence to try and break free from England, and then the Civil War. And the politics are phenomenal, very interesting, fascinating, and we allude to this, and so the film is like at one day in their life, and it goes back and forth between what the two of them are, and then it culminates at the end.
So this took a lot of compiling and a lot of brain power and editing and putting this together, huh?
Yeah, well, again, a great team that we had. We had fantastic producing partners in terms of post and finishing with a company called Clark Stanley and Rolling Pictures in Toronto, and to this day they're just unbelievably supportive, whether it be recuts or clips or what have you.
Bunch of B-rolls.
Oh yeah, they're just really super supportive and fantastic.
One of the things I had been chewing on, and I slept on it, and one morning woke up and said, I'd like to recut the opening, and we went down and we said, can we test this out? We took a look at it, and Kellyanne and myself and the editor Matt, we all three just went, oh yeah, this is way better. And so they've been like phenomenally helpful, like unbelievable. It's we don't have a film like Liam and May in the state that it is now without them. We would have a different film.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe more of a comedy film if I tried to do it by myself, you know, and be like, this ain't what I wanted
yeah,
to put out.
it's certainly not the level that
Yeah.
it's at, and we've been so pleased with the quality of the film that it turned out to be. The look, everything from the production design, our amazing production designer, Deanna Kubista, who is a dear friend of mine also. She's award-winning now because we took home some hardware from the Sholo International Film Festival in Arizona. Also our costume designer, being a period piece, coupled with the production design, authenticity was very important to us. And both Deanna as a production designer and our costume designer, Laura Berry, just took it over the top. And Laura was recently recognized at what does CAFCAD stand for?
CAFCAD now, it's the Canadian Association of Film and Television Costume Designers, something like that. Big long thing.
Yeah, so
it's called CAFCAD.
CAFCAD. So it's a nationwide recognition of costume design in film and television across the board.
And these are films and TV that's not just Canadian. It's
international.
There were nominations from a variety of different TV series.
Yeah.
You know, Star Trek Discovery.
Right. Canadians who have worked on any show is what the idea is. Yeah. So so there was a category for short films. And
we were one of 4 nominated.
Yeah. And she took it home, which is we're so proud of her.
We're so really thrilled for her.
Yeah.
What actually got you into doing filmmaking? I mean, have you been doing filmmaking for a while, or did you wake up one morning like?
You go ahead.
It's our day job for both of us. Keith is older than I am, and just a little bit. You know, and he started in the business when you were like 18. You started playing with cameras, and that led to working in TV studios, and eventually that led to working in film. And from my standpoint, I saw what he was doing and went, that looks kind of cool. And when I was about 18, I started following him around on corporate videos that he was DPing, and I'd carry his camera cases and tripods and label some tapes and cut some celery for the craft table. And it just rolled from there, and eventually I was able to develop my own path, and then we came together for this.
So you started back in the days where we were, instead of cut and paste, copy and paste movies. It's actually VCR tape production.
When I started in live television, and my first job was pushing the broom around the carp shop. And then I got a promotion. I could push the broom around the studios.
Right, and then you seen all that, and you're like, oh, wow.
And I took it in school, and when I was about 5 years out of college, I got approached and was asked if I'd be interested in learning this new thing called a Steadicam. So I went down to Rockport, Maine, took the course with Garrett Brown, and was, I think, the 5th Steadicam operator in Canada at the time, and now I'm 34 years having done it, and I'm kind of winding it down. The amazing part is now my daughter, Kelly Ann's niece, is a second assistant camera person in Iifc, based in Toronto, and she is training to become a Steadicam operator, and she's really good.
So y'all gonna keep this in a family right here, right?
So it seems.
And that's the theme for Liam and May.
Yeah.
It's family. There's family throughout who've worked on it. And it's just, when we went over to Ireland to do the exteriors, the establishing exteriors, and the opening title sequence, we stayed with family. Our cousins over there, and they were so gracious, and everything's great. Our mom donated a mink stole as part of the costume. That sort of thing.
And it kind of makes sense, being that our grandmother was this performer and working in the arts so often. And our dad, he didn't do that as his day job. He worked a regular job, but he was always drawn back to the theater, always doing community theater, commercial work in some respect. Our sister was an actress for a while. Our other brother is a live sports camera operator. So we've all sort of managed.
None of us have real jobs.
We don't have real jobs. We all sort of
Exactly.
managed this freelance lifestyle and somehow making this creative thing work. Where most of us are now behind the scenes more than in front, but still sort of feeling like we're in that same sort of vein.
We now have next generation. Our son and our sister's daughter are both now in front of the camera. Our son is a classic trained operatic tenor. He went to the University of Toronto. And in Liam and May, it's his original song that opens the film. It's his music through in the film, and the closing credits is his cover of the old Irish warrior lament, Carrick Fergus. He does this. And our niece Brenna moved out to Vancouver to start building her her film career, and she was just this great new indie film. What the heck is it called?
Rose. Something Rose.
Sorry, Brenna.
Yeah, sorry, Brenna.
But they were
Rose.
just. She was just down at Mammoth Lakes Film Festival, and they had a great reception down there. So it's still in the family. It's now going multi-generational. You know. So, and the cool thing is about our son Connor. He actually plays in the film in Liam and May. Opposite, he plays the character Rory, and he plays opposite the characters of his great-grandmother and his great-grandfather.
Wow.
And there's an interesting interaction between his great-grandfather and him. I won't tell you what it is.
Yeah.
You have to watch
That's
the movie.
right. You have to watch the movie.
So how long is this movie that you put?
It's just under 20 minutes.
20-minute short film.
So it's, I think they're technically calling it a featurette here in Idyllwild, which is fantastic. We love that title. We accept it graciously. And our idea for the whole story is that we truly believe that more can be told. And the feedback we get from audiences most of the time is, what happens next? I want to see what happens
so you
next.
Gotta follow you to
so
find
we
out.
very much want to do that. So this this short, Liam and May, is sort of our proof of concept, a pilot episode, whatever you want to call it. So our job next is to put together a proper pitch package, which we're continually working on while still doing our day jobs. Write more episodes or what have you, and try to find someone somewhere who
I think
might be interested
over the
in
next month, there's going to be plenty of time to work on that.
Yeah, right. Things might be slowing down.
We just got read that there's a possibility that the Canadian government might be closing the border, and we're not due to fly home till very early Monday morning. It's like
we might be sticking around longer.
It's
we might be looking for something to do.
Let me guess, it's all because of the coronavirus.
Exactly, yeah, and it's understandable. They just like shut it down, shut everything. I look at it as everybody's taking an extended spring break. You know, why not? And
you just don't have no toilet paper. That's all.
Okay.
What's up with that?
What's up with that?
You know, that's what I was talking on the radio show yesterday with IE Newswire radio with Roy Bleckert, and we were talking about how this country is going to a panic with no toilet paper. Everybody's rushing, stealing toilet paper. And matter of fact, you know, those that are looking for toilet paper, I just did get a phone call from El Toro Market, the owners down there in HEMET, and they want me to let everybody know they do have toilet paper. We have water, and we have sanitizers and soap. So get down there and get, well, never mind. We don't want nobody to know that it's down there, because that way we can get some before we
for
get
yourself.
But it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just like.
But you know what? I have to tell you, it's been amazing watching the organizers of this amazing festival. First of all, this film festival is really,
it's fantastic.
You got to come, even if you're not a filmmaker. Just come and check out the caliber of on-screen content. Is
so good.
Is amazing. But the folks that are running this festival are on top of this, you know, whatever you want to call it, this virus.
Oh man, I tell you.
But they're on top of it, and they're handling it, and they're adapting. And last night we were out for a few beers in the Idyllwild Brew Pub, and I looked around and I thought, maybe this is the last party for the next month or so on the planet.
Right, I know. That's what it seems like.
It's really great, and we're seeing more people come up today. They're coming up the as they say here, coming up the hill. I love that. You know.
Up the hill.
Up the hill, and it's pretty good. You know, this is an amazing town. So I mean, you folks that live here, you know this, but for us, this is
it's a new thing, and it's
this mountain has a lot to offer.
Oh,
yeah,
and everybody is just so warm, so friendly. Everything's chill. It's like,
very chill.
You know,
yeah.
That's how we hillbillies are.
That's
out there, you know? But you know, I do got to give Trinity Houston a shout out on this, because Trinity has been pulling her hair out with this.
Yeah.
We were scheduled to have, you know, the award ceremony at the Golden Air Productions, and then the governor Newsom and them put out the alert that if any gathering of 250 more, it's got to be canceled. So, well, we got more than 250 people, so we was trying to move it to another location. That didn't work out, so, well, we're just going to have it here.
You see everybody, it's like I was talking with Stephen last night about just about it. He goes, we're constantly just trying. We're one step ahead,
Yeah.
and
And
how else
adjusting.
are you going to do it?
Trinity
Exactly.
always has a plan B in her pocket.
Well, exactly,
She's
and that's
always
the idea. Be ready for something, but also be ready if you have to change and have another plan in place. You got to turn right, left, or
When
veer
Plan
one way
B
or the other.
came through, Plan B didn't work. She pulled her hat off and pulled out Plan C.
There you go.
And she
Well,
made
yeah.
it happen.
You know, when we were making Liam and May, we ran into situations not of this magnitude, but for us at our little micro level, where all of a sudden we'd come up against this mountain in front of us, and we go, oh, we have to find a way around that, and we would come up with a solution, be it Plan B or C or whatever, and in the long run, it helped make it a better film.
That's right.
Yeah. It's quite amazing.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are trying to figure out what kind of style and look, if you've seen the Netflix series Peaky Blinders, it has that texture, that look to it. There's another Netflix series. It's a much smaller one than Peaky Blinders. That's out of Dublin, out of Ireland, called Rebellion. And Rebellion is 2 seasons, 5 episodes, and that is very, very similar to our story. To the point where I'm actually contemplating reaching out to those producers and saying, hey, while you guys were doing this, unbeknownst to you and to me, we were doing this.
Right.
Maybe there's some commonality, maybe there's some interest to continue on and incorporate. Who knows? You never know.
You never know what tomorrow's going to bring.
You can always ask, and the worst thing they can say is no thank you.
That's right.
There's a 50% chance they'll say yes.
That's it. Hey, if you don't never
pretty
get,
good
if
odds.
you don't ask, you won't never
Exactly,
know.
you never get. So
Yeah, there was interesting things. We had like our leading lady and our leading man. When we cast them, we got so fortunate. Our leading lady, she came to the casting dressed in the period clothing and her hair done, and and she was reading for another part. And I said, I'm going to go off board here. I said, Leanne, would you be interested in reading for another part? And she goes, sure. I said, okay, here are the sides. Take as much time as you need. She came back 40 minutes later, and just both Kellyanne and myself, okay, this is May.
Yep, that's
and then our leading man, James Acton.
I remember it to this day.
Wow.
As soon as he delivered his first line at the casting session, I went,
he's the one.
He's the one.
He's
the one.
It just I remember there's a pub scene where we started the first morning of rehearsals, and we had a day player, Dennis, coming in to work with him, and we ran the first rehearsal, and I just went over to James and I said, look, what you're doing, I'm really loving. Just I want you to. That's your play area. You just stay in that. I'm not going to really give you too much. If I see you starting to wander out, I might ask you to come back into it. But you just stay there with that. I'm going to work with Dennis because he hasn't been with us for the last couple of days. And boy, oh boy, they had a dynamite scene together.
How about that?
Where they were drinking. A little whiskey, a little Guinness, a little more whiskey.
Maybe the whiskey and the Guinness is what helped keep them in the role.
It was iced tea and.
Well, the whiskey was iced tea, but the Guinness was real Guinness.
The Guinness, it had to.
It has to look like Guinness.
It had to look like Guinness.
We're making hot
There's only
toddies,
one.
huh?
Yeah.
Well, how can people actually follow you for any updates or follow you?
We're on Instagram. We're Liam and May _the film, and we're on Facebook as well. Our Facebook page is Liam and May.
You want to spell that for folks that don't know how to
Sure.
spell it?
Liam, and May, like the month, the 5th month of the year, May. And Liam, just so you know, is the Irish for William.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start calling my brother Liam.
There you
can
go.
do that.
You can do that.
Yeah.
That's legit. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and
they were our grandparents' real names.
Gotcha.
And we thought about changing the name a little bit, and we never talked about it actually, because one of the things I considered when we were doing the writing, and I was like, the name is Liam and May the right name, and I came to the conclusion that yes, I decided it was, and we never talked about whether to change it or not, and I don't think we need to.
There's times where I went, and then it was
Maybe.
like, should I change the last name? And then said, no, why? This is about family, done by family.
Yeah.
I know. So it is have family history,
Yeah.
World history, Irish history and my imagination.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Tell them instead of family owned and operated, it's family owned and activated.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
There's an awful lot of Murphys in the end credits.
Right.
Murphy this and Murphy that.
Who's these Murphys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, let's go ahead and check out your trailer.
Yes,
and,
sir. Thank you.
So well, let's go ahead and go into the video.
Thanks,
Make sure
Eddie.
you do comment below. Let us know what you think of this trailer.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'll go into the next interview with
And
another
this is
filmmaker.
how we'll say goodbye. Slancha.
Slancha.
So he just doesn't come home?
No, I haven't seen him or heard from him now in over 3 weeks.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
delivery for you?
Enjoy it. When I get home tonight, we'll talk. Sort this all out, I promise.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's another day up here in Idyllwild, here at the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema 2020. Hope you guys are enjoying all the productions that we're doing from up here in the mountain back down to you guys in the valley. So today we're here with our first interview and our filmmaker, producer, and actors. I mean, you wore so many hats in this film that you did. So do you want to introduce your guest, your partner here with us?
Sure. This is Sandra Glinka. She is my lovely actress, the star of my film. She plays Lorena.
Okay.
And yeah, she's fabulous.
Awesome. Where are you from?
I'm from Estonia originally.
I was going to say that. And then
And where's that at?
Estonia is a tiny country in Northern Europe by Finland. We border Finland, Latvia, Russia. On the other side of the sea, there's.
Oh, okay. So how you like it out here in Idyllwild?
I love it here. I mean, I've lived in the U.S. for the past 9.5 years.
Okay.
But I love this. This is so beautiful and cozy, and I'm like, oh my God, I need this. I need to buy something here.
Right, it's beautiful up here. I love to move up here. So, what got you both into the acting and the filmmaking? What inspired you to say, I want to do this?
Madeline?
Well, I know what your answer is going to be. It's going to be that I made you do my movie.
Oh, she's going to blame her for it, right?
No, yeah, because you were taking a break, right?
Yeah, that always happens to me. The moment I want to take a break from acting, you know, something comes up. Yeah, I get sucked in.
Just pulled right back in.
It's funny. No, Madeline just offered me to be in her movie out of the blue. I was actually wearing this exact same sweater. It's a lucky sweater now. I always wear it.
Right.
And I was very excited to do it, and it was a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful production, and everything was super professional, and I think it looks great, and whatever Madeline did was wonderful, and I would love to work with her again.
Well, I think she likes your work, so she talked highly of you before the interview. So, so Madeline, tell me a little bit about your film. What inspired you to shoot this film?
Well, I'm a screenwriter, but as a lot of filmmakers or screenwriters know, it can be frustrating. You're waiting for someone to pick your film and decide to make it, and there can be a lot of hiccups along the way, and people put it in development, then it falls out. And I'm a take the bull by the horns kind of girl, so I was like, forget it. I'm just going to make something myself. I just want to make a movie.
If you want it done right, do it yourself.
Just do it yourself. So exactly. So I actually, I decided since it's a short and it's 7 minutes long, I've always been curious about directing. I had a feeling that I would enjoy directing, so I thought this would be a perfect experiment, and I absolutely loved it. Yeah. And I had a great team, but that was also my producing. I have always felt that I would probably be pretty good at producing as well. I have 3 children and a husband who's been in the art world for 25 years. My life has been a production. So I put this whole thing together, and everything fell into place, and
I'm really proud of it. I'm really happy. I just feel like everybody just did an amazing job and made me look really good.
Now, what is the name of your film and what is it about?
It's called Crimson Cuffs,
Okay.
and it's I would call it a gothic noir thriller. It's about Lorena, who goes on a blind date. She's got this pushy mom who just insists that she needs to do something that scares her every day and get out of her comfort zone. And at the same time, Lorena has her instincts, her gut is telling her, maybe this isn't such a good idea. But she doesn't want to disappoint her mom. And so it's basically about trusting your instincts versus listening to other people's advice.
So you want to go out on a date with this guy and your gut feeling like, I don't know if I should, I don't know if this is...
Well, yeah, if it's a mom setting you up with somebody.
Oh, yeah, that's a gut feeling right there. There's something wrong with this picture, right?
Like, who is this man who goes on a blind date in 2020? Anyways, yeah, but my character is a little bit of, I play a shy girl who is not out there, probably from a small town, who has a regular job and is, you know, probably never been in a serious relationship, and mom is pushing her to actually get married finally. It's one of those, you know.
She's wanting you out of the house in this film.
Exactly. So basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then get in trouble. Because of my mother.
Now, how did you end up meeting her as an actress from a different country? Were you out here?
We were actually at the Cannes Film Festival. That's where we became friends. I met her, was there, and then I saw her a year later at Sundance. And that's actually when I offered her the role, on the spot. We were just having a conversation, and it took about 40 minutes of us just talking and laughing and telling stories. And then all of a sudden, it was like a flashbulb just went off, and I looked at her, and I said, Sandra, oh my God, you're perfect for my short that I'm going to do.
And I was so shocked, because I'm such a, how you trust the universe. I don't know how you trusted this whole thing. If I did a short for the budget that you did and like the whole production thing and like the amount of time that you put in, I would have freaking do castings all day. Like,
yeah, I didn't do any auditions at all, actually.
You went with
and
your
everybody
gut
was
feeling.
perfect, yes.
Yeah.
And actually, the lead guy, I met at that same party at Sundance. And then it was 2 days later at another party, that same thing happened to me. I'm looking at him and we're talking, and I went, oh, Ben, you're perfect to play the guy. You look great opposite Sandra. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll send you my reel. I was like, great, you do that.
You didn't even see him act before that?
No, but I did watch his reel.
She went
obviously.
by the gut feeling again.
Yeah, no, I did watch his reel, and I was like, okay, he can act. But what's interesting, we were telling the story about, I was telling you the story, we didn't do any rehearsal because I figured it was 6 pages long. How much rehearsal? I don't want to beat the thing to death, but I like things fresh on camera, and it's only, 6 minutes. We have time basically to rehearse while the camera's rolling. So if there's any issues, we'll take care of it then. So right before we went to shoot, I said, you guys off book? Everybody knows their lines? And they all said yes. Okay, perfect. That's all I need to know because I know you can act. So we go to roll our first take. Scene one. It was like, and I'm watching from behind the monitor intensely, and I'm watching their performance, and it's great. Boom, it's going back and forth, and all of a sudden silence. And I'm like, they forgot a line. Oh no. And then they look over at me, and I look in Sandra's eyes, and I realize, oh, that's my line. Because we didn't discuss this before, but I actually ended up being in the film. I didn't want to be in my own film, but my actress that was playing the waitress dropped out last minute, and I stepped in because I didn't even have time to do any castings, even if I wanted to. So, yeah. So that
So in this film, you was basically wearing multiple hats. In this
totally. I was writer, director, producer, actor.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was a bit much. Next time I would take at least one out of the equation.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't do all 4.
So now, how long did it take you guys to actually shoot, edit, and produce this film?
The shooting was 12 hours.
Yeah.
One night. We started at sundown, and our last shot was sunup, like right as dawn was approaching. And then I would say post-production was a couple months, about 3 or 4 months, because I was sending it out to different people and had to wait to get something back. And yeah, I would say so. We shot in April, and we were finished by the end of the summer.
Wow, That's some good work right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. My post-production team was excellent too. Everybody, it all really came together.
Well, that's
and my composer even, he works with James Newton Howard, so fabulous composer. And I called a lot of favors. There's a lot of people stepped up, and really talented people came in and helped me on this.
That's good. It sounds like everything just fell in line.
It absolutely did. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, where can other people find you or follow you and follow your movements?
So they can follow me on Instagram at Omisvail. So it's literally at OHMISSVAIL, or at 3virtuesfilms.com is my website, but it's also my Insta is at 3virtuesfilms. And the film is on Facebook. It's just facebook.com/Crimson Cuffs.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And what gave you the idea to come up with that particular title?
You have to see the film.
Right. So
it's an Easter egg. It's in there, yeah.
Check it. So let's go ahead and show the preview of the trailer, and then we'll go into the next interview with another filmmaker right up here.
You know what he looks like?
She said that he has dark hair, blue eyes, got a beard. Handsome?
She said she didn't send you a picture?
That crazy guy with the lazy eye with Idyllwild, and we're now on our second interview. I hope you guys enjoyed the previous one we did. Pretty cool story. So today we're here with the filmmakers and shall I say actors, actress? Or
Filmmaker and first AD.
Yeah, first AD. All right.
Very important role.
All right. Well, we're gonna find out what your role is all about.
Okay.
All right. So what is the title of your film?
Our film is Black Moon.
Black Moon.
Yeah.
What is it about?
Black Moon is an 8-minute short. I like to think of it as a Twilight Zone meets Pan's Labyrinth, sort of a magical realism type thing. It doesn't have the creatures and stuff of Pan's Labyrinth, but it has this sort of magical vibe to it. It is a horror that involves a young mother being lured into a pedestrian tunnel on the night of a black moon and never being able to get out again.
I was looking at your trailer that you had, and now as soon as I seen that trailer, I'm like, I got to see this movie. Because, I mean, just the intensity of the trailer is like, dude, this is a great film.
Thank you.
And I see that you guys put a lot of work into this thing.
We did. I mean, not just pre-production, production. You know, it's also in the post. It's funny how much was shaped there, where we actually wanted to do more, and finding out less made the film better. And we just took the time to try, and then it was like, this is the best version of this it could be. And then that trailer just makes it pop.
It did. You did a good job on that. Now, tell me who your partner is here with you.
Colin, my partner, is the first AD, and I've said it many other times in different Q&As and interviews, not just, my producers and Colin. I could not have done what I did with that film, which, as simple a film as it is, people one after another talk about how distinct the perspective and vibe is, but I was able to do that because I was just 100% dedicated to directing. I didn't have to worry about the minutia or logistics. I had wonderful support from Colin and my producers, and I couldn't have done it without them.
So what was your role? What did you actually do with this?
So an assistant director will take the script, break it down, and then essentially hopefully help out and bring it to reality. Right. And my viewpoint of ADing is, as long as I can take everything off the plate that doesn't involve the actors, for Ryan, for the director to deal with on the day, then we're fine.
So you take a lot of load off of his back and off of the shoulders.
Hopefully a good AD will do that, yes.
Well, it sounds like you did. He talks highly of you. So
yeah, well.
How did you two actually run up on meeting with each other?
I met Colin. I do production sound mixing for a living. Black Moon was my first short, and I was sort of cherry picking from various projects I was mixing for, crew members that I thought I'd be interested in having on my set. I pulled my first producer from a short film that I had done, the young actress who, as the little girl in the tunnel, also came from that same short, but I'd met her previously. My other producer is also my screenwriter. came from the same film I met Colin on, and it was just sort of finding the right people who had the right personality and vibe and interest in doing it. I mean, it's because you approach people and you never know. I mean, maybe let's say it's like, I'm a professional. I don't need to do a freebie. But Colin was very up for it. You know, we connected as friends and then also creatively, and he was very up for
That's
it.
the important part, that connection, because you got to work together on an intense project, you know. So if you don't have that connection, the vibes are not going to be right, and the film's not going to come out right.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing that you guys had that great connection meeting like that. So,
Absolutely.
now you mentioned on another film. Did you meet each other at like another festival? Or?
No, I was production sound mixing a feature, and then actually a second feature months later, which he was also on. Yeah. And he was working as a second AD on both films. But just through chatting and work, being colleagues, found out that he also firsts and whatnot. And when I could just see his presence on set, how much easier my job was as a sound mixer, because of his organization and making things run smoothly for those directors. I knew that would help me on my film, so I asked him if he'd be willing to do it, and he very graciously said yes, of course.
So now you're on his team for who knows how many?
For any film I can get him on, I will have him, because if there were problems, I didn't know about it because Colin took care of it.
That's good. You got a team like that. That's really great. Now, what actually inspired you to actually shoot this particular story with the title that you gave this movie?
So this title came later, actually. That was sort of an inspiration that was by happenstance. I'll do it in chronological order. So the first thing was the location itself. It's actually a pedestrian tunnel underneath the 101 freeway in Tarzana, just a few blocks from where I live. And I had just moved into a condo in the area, and me and my wife would drive past it. And it just had this interesting look. And then suddenly the idea popped in my head. I was like, wow, I'm terribly trapped in there, never be able to get out. And I'm like, I wonder if we could do something more with that. And I don't want it to say what else comes into the story, but there are other aspects of being trapped in that tunnel. And little piecemeal things happened, and then the final stage, and I'm being so vague, but I don't want to ruin the film.
Right, exactly.
But all of the different little elements that moved the story forward and then finally wrapped it up in one little bow popped into my head, and we happened to be driving by. I'm like, hang on a second. And I pulled over, and I went over, and I looked in the tunnel. I said, this could work. And from there, it was just finding the right people and even the right screenwriter, because I don't write. The idea was already there. The plot was already there. I knew what was going to happen, but I needed someone to translate the tone and vibe of it onto a script so I could just pass that to people and they could see what I was trying to tell people verbally. And that's where Dan Schaefer came in and did a fantastic job. But yeah, it moved. It was something that could only be told through cinema. It wasn't a story that you could do as a short story or something that you could do as even a graphic novel, or I don't know. It was something that it needed to be told through cinema. Where the camera is and how it moves is what makes Black Moon what it is. And then the final element, which is the title, as you were saying, is there is a cyclical element. And the phases of the moon kind of go perfectly with that. And I never heard of a black moon at that point, but my DP actually, we were having a meeting about a possible future project, and he said, hey, did you guys hear on the news it's a black moon? I said, what's a black moon? I mean, which is probably what you're going right now. What's a black moon? Have you heard of it?
Never heard
exactly,
of it.
That's my point. And I looked into it, and I said, this is perfect, because a black moon's a rare event that happens on irregular timetable. It's the opposite of a full moon or a blue moon. A blue moon is a rare thing where it's the second full moon of the same month. A black moon is the second new moon of the same month. So I created this mythology that on these nights of black moons, very strange, otherworldly, supernatural things happen, and that became our film.
Awesome. Now, let's before we get into your film, before we show it, how can people follow you if they want to stay in contact with you, stay, in your movements and everything like that? Places people can follow your work?
The Instagram, at Black Moon Short, Facebook at Black Moon Short, hashtag at Black Moon Short. We put up all of where we'll be screening or reviews that we get, which have been phenomenal, by the way, and I'm just absolutely grateful for those. You can find links to our trailer, anything through those social media.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and check out, Black Moon, and then comment below and let us know what you think of this short film. Today here I'm with a special guest. You're from Los Angeles, right?
That's
you're
right.
Bill
Bill
Oersted.
Oersted, yes.
Nice to meet you, Bill. You're from LA, so I can shake your hand without doing the, the bump. So.
Yeah.
But you're up here. You have a film that you produced, and I can actually relate to your film. A lot of people just don't understand what you went through, as this is based on a true story.
About my mother.
And exactly about your mother. And I can relate because of my father.
Well, having Alzheimer's, that's
Yes.
something that most people that I know, if it's not somebody in their family, it's a friend of a friend, somebody that they know or that's in their family. So
somebody always can relate to this situation.
Universal, it seems.
Right. Now, I was going to ask you what inspired you to write this film, but I basically already know, because this is a true story that you went through, and you decided to let other people know, there's basically just hope. And that's all we can hope for is hope. And people want to fix the problem, but you can't really fix the problem when it gets this way. It's just hope we can fix the problem. Hope that there's a cure.
Right.
But when it gets to that certain point, the only thing you can do is just, hang on, with memories. And hang on to those memories.
Some people say, there's nothing but prayer. They have nothing left but prayer.
Right.
And so that's what gets them through. Other people are in denial about what is happening with their loved one. No, it'll get better. Everybody gets.
We always think it's going to get better, but it actually get worse.
It can. It usually keeps going downhill. That's the case. Some people will try to get their loved one to improve,
right,
with some kind of technique or regimen of my father, for example, wanted my mother to improve, and so he made her watch the news pretty much most of the day, so that the wheels would get turning in her head. That was his concept. Now, it didn't work, it didn't help, but it was out of his love for her that he was doing it. He didn't know any better, so
right.
That's people have different approaches and different reactions, and I find that the problem is often not just with the person who has the condition, but it's the whole family and the caregivers.
Right, because it affects everybody. And it actually affects the family worse than it does the patient. And that's why I say I can relate. I don't know how long it was your mother went through this. I know back in 2001, I believe. No, actually it started in 97. My daddy came down with Alzheimer's. And people that really never go through this situation, they can't relate to what we as the family and loved ones and friends actually go through dealing with that. One day, Dad was great, and his mind as sharp as can be, and then there's some days you wonder, well, what the heck?
Who is this person?
Right, and sometimes they remember you, sometimes they don't. And sometimes they don't want to remember you, it depends on that. Yeah. But, my daddy, good illustration, he was in the house. We had a little recliner that we kept him on, and a lift chair. And he was sitting there and got done eating his snack and everything. And we got preoccupied. We figured he'll be all right. He's in the house and all that. And came back in the living room and he was gone. Like, Searched all his usual places in the house, couldn't find him. We went outside, whole yard, couldn't find him nowhere. And come to find out, he ended up, he used to like to go out and collect aluminum cans. He liked to recycle. And he ended up going down this dirt road. We lived in a boondocks out in the sticks, like here in Idyllwild, you know, nothing but woods and dirt roads and rivers and creeks and swamps, you know. He ended up going down deep into the woods off of a logging trail and got down into a ravine that was filled with water because it was raining, and he got stuck and couldn't get out. So here we are, everybody searching, you know. We ended up calling our friends with the sheriff department. They came out, they started a search crew. The community ended up, you know, seeing all the police activity, so they're wondering what's going on. So they find out that Dad's out missing, so now they get involved and they start helping. And then the paramedics come out and the ambulances are all staged, you know, in case we find him needing medical treatment or something like that. And my brother ended up, he was working with Fort Rucker, Alabama as a security guard at the airports out there. And he called in and told them what was going on and that we need some military help. And actually at the time, the helicopter, the Flatiron helicopter, was flying around doing practice in our community area of Skipperville. Perfect. So they ended up waved them down. They landed in our front yard, you know, with this big helicopter, and they got out. We told them the situation that's going on and everything, so they got back in the helicopter. They put the feathers back up in the air, and they started flying that neighborhood area. In about 20 minutes of searching, they started shooting out flares to the ground crew on four-wheelers, letting them know that they found him. And he was actually down in this ravine and was stuck in the water and couldn't get out. You know, he's in his 70s, 80s, you know. So he was pretty fragile to begin with. And they ended up dropping a basket down, lifting him up, took him over to the main road, landed, got him to the ambulance. They took him to the hospital. Luckily, he was just severely dehydrated. He was good. But, you know, it scares the hell out of the families, you know, and people, you know, they, in their mind, they're doing something that they normally do in their lifestyle, but in reality, they're not. It's, you know, they're just in their own world. And when you see that, it's like, it's hard to take in. Sure. And you see them going downhill every day. And it's a hard toll on families. And
well, that's a perfect example. I mean, it's a very dramatic example.
Right.
Very, you know, almost tragic example, too, because he could have died.
Exactly.
And then there's smaller incidents, too, that the person does something or says something that's out there. But in whether it's large or small, the family is always affected. The family and the caregivers.
That's what I was telling you earlier before me and you did our interview. You know, you have some of the comical times of the things that they do. For instance, like I told you, and I'll tell the public, you know, back when my daddy was alive, and he was probably about in his 3/4 of the stage of Alzheimer's, you know, so he was pretty well into the depth of it. And his memory loss started, you know how your mama did, the memories started slipping, and so you want to always work with you, like you said, they're going to get better, they got to get better, you know. So you constantly work with that person. So, do you remember who I am? Do you know who I am? Every day you're drilling, keeping that in their memory. Some days they'll remember, sometimes they don't. And good illustration, at the time, my wife, you know, every morning when Dad would get up and come to the table, his routine is sit down, take his medicine, and give him his breakfast. He'll sit down with his coffee, and my wife's sitting there every morning. Hey, Dad, do you know who I am? Do you know what my name is? Sometimes, yeah, your snot box, because when she had a cold, she always blowing her nose, Dad would come up with a nickname, snot box. So that's his relation name to him, and every day, snot box, you know. And one morning came in, sat down, does breakfast. Hey, Dad, how you doing? First thing came out of his mouth, he looked at it and says, I'm doing good as long as you don't ask me who you are and what your name is. And I like, you know. And then you come into the situation, the hallucinations. I know your mama probably went through that stage, and I know that was like, you got to like, how did you feel? Did you feel like you had to like play along with them just to make them happy and just, okay,
I did.
yeah.
I did. You know, she would like I'd be on the phone with her and she'd come up with some oddball statement like say, well, we're on the ship right now. And I knew that wasn't the case.
Right.
They were very much inland. And that's, oh, that's interesting. You know, tell me more. Well, the Americans are coming. Okay. Now, my father was embarrassed by statements like that. He'd try to take the phone from her.
Right.
Because he just didn't, it was just, this was not the way things should be. And so he couldn't really handle it. For my part, I guess one thing that way that I dealt with her, as she was reverting back to childhood.
That's what they do.
I treated her like a child. Now, I don't say that in a condescending way.
Right.
I've worked as a substitute teacher with kids as young as 4 years old on up. Okay, so I enjoy working with kids, and there's a certain way about them. And I change myself to accommodate and to be on their level. So I found myself doing that with my mother. And if I were to stop and think about it, it would be really sad. Here, she raised me, and now
it feels like you're raising her. His table's always turned.
Exactly, exactly. But it just, she had such a feeling that she could be with me. And one of the sad moments is when they don't know people. We were around my father's bed in the facility during his last days, and my mother was there, and we're all sitting around there. It's kind of sad, and nothing's being said. And then my mother gets this weird look at my father, and she leans into me and she goes, so what's his role in all this? Oh my gosh, well, that's your husband, that's, that's our father, and, anyway.
Yeah, and that's what like Dad was, you were talking about her being on a ship, My dad's thing was, I don't know where he would get it, but he always was like he's seeing the gypsies. And either that or he'd like, do you see those gypsies over there by the fence, across the, don't let them see you, they'll come rob you and all that. And Teresa would like, my wife at the time, she's like, yeah, Dad, I see them, like you say, you have to play along with them, go to their level. And then, sometimes you play along with them, they come back and they get you. They're in that dull state of mind right then and there, but then it's like the tables turn and they get in that sharp part of mind, and they like, for instance, she like, hey, did you see those horses over there where the gypsies left? So Teresa's used to this, so she's like, yeah, Dad, I see them. He said, well, if you do, you're crazier than I am because I don't see them either, So, you have the fun times and you have the stressful times. Sure. So I can definitely relate to your film. So, I mean, when did you actually, decide to shoot this film related to your experience with your loved one?
Well, actually, I had written an even shorter script. It was 6 pages, and Hallmark had it in development meetings, and they were considering producing it. And then they said, well, you really need a caregiver character there. Right. So I added a character. And then they kicked it around some more development discussion, and eventually they, decided to produce something else. I'm okay, well, and I was like, well,
you snooze, you lose.
I guess that's that.
Somebody else will do it.
Well, here's the thing. At some point, I said, I think it's a really good story, and who cares if let me do it myself. And so I got some really talented people to work with me on this project. The director had a short film nominated at the Cannes Film Festival a few years ago. The actresses playing the mother and the father, outstanding. The woman playing the wife, the wife of my character, is the daughter of Stanley Kramer, who's just renowned as a director-producer in Hollywood. The cinematographer was a BBC cinematographer.
Oh, that's cool.
Keith Jeffries. Yeah, so just some really talented folks.
Now, how long did it take you to shoot this film?
We shot it in 3 days.
Wow, that's quick.
Yeah, and it was we shot it in my house, in my mother-in-law's house and at a facility that was nearby.
Well, according to what I see in the trailer that you got, you did a really great job. I mean, it touches home the way you put this film together. And I mean, that's why when I seen this, you know, when I stopped watching, I was like, dude, I can relate to this. I mean, I feel your pain. I feel what you went through, and people just don't realize, if you've never been in your shoes with a father or mother or a loved one that deals with Alzheimer's, you really don't understand what's really going on. And a lot of people want to make fun about, you know, the people like that, and you can't relate. And the people need to understand the true reality of Alzheimer's and how it affects the person, how it affects the family, the friends, the loved ones. And, you know, it only really tells you the only thing that you really do is just hope. I mean,
it's a universal feeling. I'm hoping to make connections with people that they can get something from the film that will speak to them and alleviate any feeling of, you know, I'm alone and I'm all, you know, I'm in this and nobody else understands it or whatever. There was a guy, we had a screening earlier today. We were going to screen 3 times,
right,
tomorrow and Sunday also. We had earlier today, and at the question and answer period, there was one guy that said that he had a relative who had Alzheimer's, and he was asking some questions, serious questions and whatever, and then after we broke, and then we were just mingling afterward, he came up to me and said, I cried.
I about cried just watching your trailer because, I mean, I related to it, and it's just like it hit home to me, you know?
Thank you.
And I feel for you. I'm sorry that you had to go through this with a loved one, and I know the stress, and it's hard to really explain to people. You just really don't understand.
Yeah.
You know, until you see this film. And I say this is a must-see film that people should see. So, can I ask you how people can actually follow you? You know, stay in network with you, follow when your film comes out, where it comes out, because, you know, I really want to make sure people and my viewers that actually should be able to relate to you. And I want our people to see this film.
Okay.
How can people follow you?
Well, I'm on Instagram at Bill Hoversten, Hoversten. An easy way to remember it is that helicopter you described.
Right.
If it hovers 10 times, hovers 10. That's my last name, Bill.
Good way to remember it.
Anyway.
Now, my memory is so bad I'll forget. I'll be sitting here and like, what did he tell me to relate that with? A plane or what? Oh, a helicopter.
Submarine.
right. So it's a pleasure really to get to meet you, and I really enjoyed your trailer. You did a really great job on it, and definitely want to stay in touch with you. So there you go, folks. Let's go ahead and let's show your trailer. And we got a little poster here of Mother's Day's Memories. And that's a good title. What actually, before I go into this trailer, what conspired you to make this title?
Well, the original title, the working title was Mother's Day.
Okay.
2 things. First of all, there's dozens of projects that are named Mother's Day. Dozens throughout the years. Many. And I thought, well, what will make it different? And then I thought about this Mother's Day memories, and it's the memories that we have, and it's the memories we lose.
Right.
So it is Mother's Day, but those memories are fleeting, and, you know, best to just treasure them while we experience
While you got them, that's right. Best advice you could give anybody right there. All
Thanks.
Right. Good job. Boom, boom. There we go. So let's go ahead and watch the trailer, folks, of Mother's Day's Memories.
There's something I want to tell you before you go, John.
What is it, Mom?
Your father.
She's not feeling well, and she's not making any sense right now.
Dad, I don't care if she's making sense or not.
You don't know how to handle this either.
That's not fair, Michelle.
We all get a little confused now and then.
Dad, I know this may be difficult for you, but she needs to be tested.
Absolutely not.
Look, I know how much you love your mom. Look, and I know how much it breaks your heart that you have to be so far away from her.
New York is, well, kind of far.
But I'll hop on a plane. You just give me the word, okay?
I'll handle it on my own.
Oh, John!
It would mean the world to me to have you back normal again.
I love you, Mom. He forces her to watch the news every day to improve her mind, and she blames herself for not remembering things. It just kills me.
I know. It doesn't seem like I love you.
What is it?
I do. I'm so sorry I wasn't at your wedding.
It's like you said. You just need to try harder, that's all.
No! Don't touch that! I told you not to touch my things!
It's okay, Doris was just clearing the table.
Point of fact, she's getting much better.
Where's Bill?
Thanks to the power of prayer.
To the power of prayer, right.
Sometimes prayer is all we have.
He didn't want us to lose you.
Even with the medication.
What was I saying?
That only slows down the process.
You know what I do, Mom. I work with a consulting firm.
It's a terrible disease.
Was I at your wedding?
I don't remember.
John, if I ever forget who you are, will you still love me?
Happy Mother's Day.
Alice, honey, I've written something, and I really want you to hear it. I'm proud of it. And tell me what you think. Don't hold back on me, okay?
Turns out this whole marriage thing just flipped his lid. So, Romeo got the hell out of Dodge and he moved here. Yeah, he sold everything that he owned. He bought a trailer and he dropped it out here in the middle of nowhere. Well, apparently he was writing all the time and it was just driving her nuts. Well, she gave him an ultimatum. You change or else. Uh-huh. And then what? Let's take Miss Barbarella to go scope out Mr. Whitaker's digs. I have some questions I want answered. Hi there, Rusty. There he is. Out of curiosity, what's he wearing?
It looks like full-body pajamas or something.
Chapter 2. The Hidden Mall.
That title packs quite a lot of imagery, doesn't it?
I know, right? So you told us that those flowers were for you, Rusty, and that hat was for your aunt. His muscular thighs stretched through his jeans, but what I liked most was his rough stubble.
I really like it. Yeah. I especially like the way you work the title of your book into the opening sentence.
Yeah, never mind. That's like way better than Devin.